Hey guys, yes, this is a more audio live stream, if you will. And happy Friday, first TGIF Friday of 2024. It is January 5th, I should say, 2024. It is 2:07 p.m. Pacific time. Pacific time. And again, I want to welcome you guys listening here on YouTube. I do apologize, first of all, for any interruptions. If you hear the phone go off in a little while, that's going to be my mom calling up, checking in on things, because she'll be on her lunch, and she wants to know what's going on, this and that, and, so on. Well, which, she has a right to do, because, hey, even though I'm 44 years old, going on 45 this year, in July, even though I'm of an age of responsibility, she still has to check in on me and all that because, honestly, and I say this with all love and respect for my mom, but I think she's kind of in a job right now to where she forgets to separate, who she works with or what she works with and what she comes home to, So, yeah, basically meaning that she kind of seems to forget that me and my sisters, we're grown up. We don't have to be basically talked to in a way that's like, oh, well, let me repeat this to you, or let me make sure you heard this and heard that and that. It's like, we get it. And it's like, you don't have to always check in. But again, I understand why she wants to check in, and that's fine. But, it's just one of those situations to where I think if she works a little lesser at a job, like maybe, if she still wants to be there, but go like maybe part-time, and they can work that out with her to where she could still do a full 8-hour day, but let's say on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I think it'd be more of a benefit for her, and I think it'd be less of like, less kind of like, I guess you could say, mixing like who she works with or what she works with, the people she comes home to or she's family to. Now I say that with all love and respect for my mom. That may not be the case, honestly, but some people would look at it that way. Some people would. So, yeah, that's why I'm also like saying, that's why I'm saying right now, that I do apologize for any interruptions with the phone. Now, be that as it may, I wanted to come on here, of course, and talk about my predictions. I know we're 5 days into the new year, but people are still making predictions for 2024 because, again, we just started up and everything, so it's a little bit more, I guess you could say, freelanced right now than it was, when we ended the year, to kind of look at the first few days of the new year and kind of predict, what else is going to come our way and everything. So with that said and everything, and let me double check something as well, because I always like to do this. Hold on for a sec. When we ended the year, yeah, making sure everything's connected. But like I said, let's kind of start getting into this, shall we? Kind of predict what's going on. I want to start off here at about the 4-minute mark, because I am going to try to chapter this a little bit. But right here at the 4-minute mark, let's talk about what's going on with the elections. Because honestly, let's look at it, truthfully, okay? Let's look at it truthfully. We know that one person, that's probably a strong candidate to represent the Republican Party is being targeted constantly by a lot of people. You have numerous states that want to get him off the ballot. You have one state that tried in Colorado, but that got rescinded. You have another state in Maine who the Secretary of State, I'm assuming of her own accord, the Secretary of State of the state of Maine decided, oh, I'm doing what's right. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Always putting I, crediting herself for taking this individual off the ballot. Now, like I said, there are other states that want to do it as well. But, from what we saw with Colorado, and, this being appealed, and thus the Colorado decision being rescinded, it's obvious that all this is intimidation. All this is a ploy to try to scare this individual off. And the individual I'm talking about, of course, is Donald Trump. And what they're trying to do is scare him off the ballot, so they can be like, yes, we have room for our candidates now. Now, that's a little over-exaggerating. I do apologize. A little over-exaggerating. But you get the idea. That's how some people view him. Like, we got this person off. Now we will win, and we will control the country. Some people view it like that. And again, I know that's over-exaggerating. I do apologize. But you kind of see what I'm saying. That's how people view this. But, there are other people that view these decisions being made by the Secretary of the State of Maine, by what Colorado did and what others are attempting or will try to do in the same vein. They look at this, again, as just, these states going into the election year, that they're not, that basically certain people there, certain officials, unelected officials, what's the word I'm looking for? Unofficial, designated, appointed, that's the word I'm looking for, appointed people, what they see is, not people that, want to get, Trump off because of what they believe he's responsible for, but they're getting him off not because of the fact that they're also afraid he's going to win, which, a lot of people pointed to being one of the main reasons, but also as, like, let's say Fox News, Newsmax, CNN, believe it or not, MSNBC, all these media outlets, on cable and streaming, even here on YouTube, the Young Turks, you name it, all of them pretty much have said that this is not only a, very risky measure that these states are taking, these people are taking to try to get Trump out of the election. But what it really is, at the end of the day, is it's not fear. It's not just fear and everything that he'll probably win, that people would vote for him to be, back in office. But it's also the fact that in this election year, every news outlet that I just mentioned have all said pretty much the same thing, if not similar, that all these states are doing, despite knowing that these moves would probably backfire on them. All they're doing is trying to get their 15, if not 5 minutes of fame. That's what they're trying to do. They are trying to basically get their name, their state out there with these decisions to be like, hey, look at us, we're important. We're going to be an important state in the election. So look at us, put the spotlight on us, That there, ladies and gentlemen, is why these states are doing it. And every news outlet that I mentioned, Fox News, Newsmax, CNN, believe it or not, MSNBC, the Young Turks, everybody that may agree with the decision to take, Trump off the ballot, that may not agree with it, or in the middle, they all say the same thing. They all say that basically, yes, we agree that he should be taken off. Yes, we don't agree he should be taken off. Or, hey, we're indecisive, about either way. But they also all agree that despite, whatever wing you follow in, if any, everybody has agreed that, this is going to not only not work, not only is this going to fail, but this is also going to come, but this is also just a method by these states, mind you, it's a method by these states to get their 5 minutes, 15 minutes of fame. That's all it is. So when I look at 2024, and I look at what these states are trying to do, what I saw Colorado trying to do, what I see the Secretary of the State of Maine trying to do, and these other states that might have to reconsider their strategy to do the same thing, what I see along with what we all saw last year, and obviously what's going to be going forward this year, all this is going to do for someone like Donald Trump or anybody else that might get targeted, like Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, maybe other candidates in the Democratic Party, maybe other candidates in the independent and Green parties, what this is going to do to those people that get targeted is just motivate them. It's going to motivate them. It's going to motivate the people that want to see them and, want to see them as the next president of the United States. It's going to motivate them to push even harder, to be, the representative, to be the one that gets the chance to get into office. That's what it's going to do. So I predict a lot of these plans, a lot of these, outlandish plans that all these people have to try to make sure certain people are not, put on the ballot or, not able to be elected the representative of their party. They are going to, all these plans are going to do is motivate those people that are being targeted. And it's going to motivate them. It's going to motivate the voters, the supporters. And it's going to basically make the people behind these methods look ridiculous. They're going to end up having egg on their face at the end of the day. I guarantee you, this Secretary of State, even the people that are in her same party, that are associated in the same party with her, do not like her. They do not like her. And they, along with the Republican members of that, of the state of Maine, and independent members, and Green Party members, they want her out. They want her out because they know she is basically a bad representation, for the state as Secretary of State, because she is truly of one, of one direction, one wing, if you will, and that's all that matters to her. And that she's mainly about herself. She's mainly about herself. She doesn't care about anybody else but herself. And all that's going to do mainly is make her look bad. To the point that if she does get impeached, she does get removed from her position, they may ban her, not just in the state of Maine, but the government may say, look, lady, you did something without consent. We're banning you from ever running for office ever again. That may happen. And it's not going to be a good look for her. And if she probably wants any chance to, not have that happen, she's either got to rescind that decision and just come out and admit the truth. Because I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Others have said it before, and they will say it again. Even, like I said, reliable or not so reliable news outlets have said it. Everybody knows at the end of the day, when it comes to someone like Donald Trump, what this really is, at the end of the day, isn't because of what happened on January 6th with that insurrection deal. No. It wasn't because of that. No. What this is really about is of what Trump said about women in the past, the way he treated women in the past. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. And unfortunately for Donald Trump, what his actions and words towards women before his first term as president is coming back to bite him. It's coming back to bite him. And he has no one but himself to blame. And all he has to do, and God willing he does, God gives him, the thought of doing it. All he has to do, in my opinion, is humble himself. And on every campaign stop he makes this year, go out and the first thing he does, the first thing he should do, during these campaign stops throughout this year, the first thing he needs to do, swallow his pride and say, I first of all want to say that I humbly apologize for the way I mistreated women and talked down upon them before I became president. That was my fault. I had no right to do that. I humbly apologized, and I hope you accept my apology. That's all he has to do. Just sincerely humble himself and apologize for what he did. I'm not saying it would work, in the long run, but it would be a huge step in getting a lot of these people, which again, as I've mentioned before, believe it or not, and I say it with all due respect, no offense, a majority of these people that want him out are women. It may not be a total victory, but it'd be like a major first step, in my opinion, of these women these people mostly led by women. And again, I say that with all due respect, no offense, kind of backing off, being like, hey, that's all we want to hear. That's all we wanted. Now we'll leave you alone. Because in a way for them, even though it won't be like a satisfying victory, it'd be somewhat of a bittersweet victory because they finally got this guy who talked down upon them, who mistreated them, to admit, hey, I was wrong, you were right. That's it. That's it. So if I'm Trump, if I'm Donald Trump, that's the first thing I do on this campaign trail here in 2024. That's what I do. And heck, if you really want to get people to support you, get yourself, and I say it with all due respect, no offense, get yourself a female vice president to run along, a female running mate to run alongside you, for 2024. And heck, if Nikki Haley gets pushed out of the election because of other things she may have said and done and whatever, Nikki Haley would be a great, I wouldn't say great, but would be a suitable, let me correct myself there, would be a suitable, running mate for vice president, because that way you as Donald Trump are showing the world, hey, look, this time around, I'm going to have a female vice president by my side. And that's all you'd have to do. That's all he would have to do. I'm not saying he'll do it, but if he wants these people off his back, which again, I say with all due respect, no offense, are, led by women, that want him off the ballot, this, humbly apologizing on every stop he makes, for the way he's mistreated them and talked down upon them before his first term, and then maybe even, choosing a female running mate to be the vice president alongside him if he gets elected. I'm not saying it would be a total victory, but honestly, those would be two good first steps in the right direction to basically getting people off of his back. But that's just my opinion. Maybe you guys agree and disagree. I don't know. But that's just my opinion. I think it would be a good first step. So, all in all, when I look at this election here in 2024, like I said, not just Donald Trump, but, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, many others of the Republican Party, many other potential candidates in the Democratic Party, many other candidates in the Independent and Green parties. All I could say is that whoever out of those parties gets targeted by, these left-wingers or right-wingers or whatever you want to call them, to try to get them out of the election, to try to get them to say, hey, I'm not going to run anymore. I succeed, or, I basically bow out and everything, whatever. All it's going to do for those people that are getting targeted, by these left-wingers and right-wingers and all that for whatever reasons, what it's going to do at the end of the day, what it's going to do is it's going to motivate, it's going to motivate those candidates, it's going to motivate their team, and mostly it's going to motivate the supporters who want to see them in office. That's what it's going to do. So when it's all said and done, this is what I look at. I look at this 2024 election as being probably the most important and most, I wouldn't say wartistic, but I would say it's the most important, most, unpredictable, unknown, and potentially, game-changing, world-changing election this country has ever seen. That's what it's going to be, because we are in a situation to where if it's not Donald Trump, it's either somebody else, in any of the parties that's getting targeted, because the left-wingers or the right-wingers, the left-wingers being the ones being blamed the most, they want to make sure they keep their power. They want to make sure they keep the person they want in office. I mean, come on. A lot of people look at Biden as not being mentally and physically capable of doing his job. And they look at Kamala Harris as like, Kamala Harris is like, what have you done? All you're doing is smiling and saying, hey, I'm hip kids. I'm with the cool kids. Nobody, it's like, people look at that and they wonder, why do you want to keep him in office? And it's very simple. It's because they want to keep the power. To a lot of people, Biden's basically being put under a spell, like, you will obey what we say, Biden. You will do what we left-wingers tell you. Hypnotize you. And Biden's like, yes, I will do what you say. I will support you. Beep, beep, beep. That's how people kind of view it, as ridiculous as that sounds. That's how people review it. view it. That's how they do. That's what they do. That's how they view it right now, honestly. And it's a shame. It's a shame for people to think that way. It's a shame for people to think that way, but that's what's going on. And that's why I say, looking at this as the first thing I'm predicting for the 2024 year, I look at this election as being the most unknown, most unpredictable, most game-changing, world-changing election this country has ever seen, because you don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea what is going to happen on this end of the country or the other end or in between. You don't know what's going to happen. You do not know what's going to happen. But to me, I look at the fact that, again, Donald Trump being the one that's getting targeted the most. He's the one getting targeted the most. I look at the fact that if I'm DT, what I do is, again, in my first couple of stops here in 2024, going forward, is I humble myself. I humble myself, swallow my pride, and the first thing I say is I'm sorry, and I humbly apologize for the way I treated women and, talked down to them, before my first term as president. I humbly apologize, and I hope you can accept my apology. And also, if he does become the representative for the Republican Party, the next thing he needs to do is choose somebody of the female persuasion as his running mate. Whether it's Nikki Haley or somebody else, choose somebody, of the female persuasion. Because I guarantee you, and I say it with all due respect, no offense, he does that along with being humble and along with humbling himself and apologizing for his actions prior to his first term. I guarantee you, even though it won't be a total satisfactory victory for those, that want him out, I guarantee you, though, it'll be a more bittersweet one because honestly, and I say it with all due respect, no offense, I say it with all due respect, no offense, he does that, he does both those things, I should say, and I guarantee you, they'll have a look of satisfaction on their faces, and they may not come out and say it, but mentally, in their minds, they'll be like, well, we got one victory over him, maybe this will teach him a lesson, because that's what they want. They want to humiliate him and teach him a lesson of, hey, if you're going to be around women, you treat them right. So again, if I'm Trump, those are the first two things. Those are, the humbling and apologizing is the first thing I do on all these stops going forward. And if I become representative, I choose someone of the female persuasion to be my running mate. Whether it's Nikki Haley or whoever. I think that's her name. But you get the idea. You get the idea. I just feel that basically that's what needs to be done. That's what needs to be done. But like I said, before I close out this first prediction, I look at the fact that this, as I said, as I close out this first prediction, that this is going to be the most unpredictable, most unknown, game-changing, world-changing election the United States of America has ever seen. Because you have no idea what's going to happen as we hinge closer to November 7th, 2024. You have no idea. You have no idea what's going to happen. You have no idea, how certain people, certain members of a culture, of a woke culture, SJW culture, cancel culture, left-winging, you have no idea what they, or those that have other woke culture, cancel culture, SJW, white-ringing, you have no idea what they're capable of doing to ensure their persons are the ones sitting in that chair in the Oval Office. When 2025 comes around. You have no idea what they're capable of. But, like I said, this is going to be a big one to really look out for. But, because again, like I said, it's going to be a game changer. It's going to be a world-changing, world-changing, unpredictable, unknown, if not chaotic, election that the U.S. has ever seen. Now, with that said, let's move on to another prediction that I see going on here. And, excuse me, let's go on to a prediction to where, if you're a wrestling fan, and a lot of you know here on my channel that I am, we had some free agents make some vignettes over the past, few weeks since their non-compete clause came due from WWE. So now they're able to go elsewhere. My prediction for some of these people is, I believe, I'm not saying when or where, but I've got a feeling some of these free agents are going to be either all elite or back in WWE before the year's out. Who do I see going all elite, you might ask? Well, I also have to add in TNA. So I look at people, so these are the people I see either going all elite, going to TNA, or back to WWE. As far as AEW goes, I think what we're going to get, in my honest and humble opinion, we're going to get Dana Brooke. That's right. I know what you're thinking. Dana Brooke? No way. She more than likely go back to WWE at the Rumble. And you might be right. But if we don't see her at the Rumble, I'm predicting her to be all elite. I really am. I'm predicting her to be all elite before this year's out. Because they're going to want women on that in that division. What better way to have a powerhouse woman, as part of that company, another powerhouse woman, than to have her. Guarantee you she'll be in AEW. Another woman I think that's going to debut in AEW, Beth Copeland, a.k.a. Beth Phoenix, the Glamazon. And I think she's going to debut right before Revolution, if not at Revolution. I truly believe that. In the next 8+ weeks, she's either going to show up on Collision or Dynamite. She's going to show up as an answer to Mother Wayne, to Mother Wayne of the patriarchy. She's going to show up, and Mother Wayne's going to see this, know who she is, and basically be like, I'm out of here. And that's going to be enough for Edge or Adam Copeland to beat Christian Cage. That'll be enough of a distraction for him to beat Christian Cage, along with a potential kill switch, a.k.a. Luchasaurus, turn against Christian. But I see Beth Phoenix, the Glamazon, showing up in AEW within the next several weeks, if not at Revolution. That's just my prediction. Another person I think is going to go all elite is, in my opinion, because I think it's well overdue, is going to be Shelton Benjamin. I think either Shelton Benjamin's going to go back to Japan, or he's going to go all elite. I feel he's going to fit well in AEW. He'll be put in the role that a Billy Gunn's in right now, to where he's an active wrestler, but he also helps behind the scenes. So I see basically, Shelton Benjamin, if he doesn't show up in the Rumble and does kind of acknowledge, hey, I'm back, I see Shelton Benjamin, showing up in AEW before the year's out. I see that. The other person I see showing up in AEW, believe it or not, is I know it's crazy to sound, but the other person I think would show up, in AEW is going to be Nick Namath. Nick Namath, a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler. But I don't see him being there for long. I don't see Nick Namath being there for long. Obviously they're going to pair him up with his brother, Ryan Namath. And they're going to probably be positioned as a top tag team in that company. But I don't think he's going to want to I don't think he's going to want to be satisfied with being stuck in a tag team. It's like he's going to go to Tony Khan and be like, you're just going to stick me in a tag team with my brother? Hey, I like that and everything, but have you not seen what I've done single-wise? So to me, I think what's going to happen is he's going to end up, with AEW, kind of in a similar situation like William Regal, to where he's there for a majority of the year, but then, he gets released or he's allowed to, leave, and he'll probably, by 2025, end up back in WWE. That's just my prediction. I could be wrong. I might be wrong a week from tomorrow. Who knows? Who else do I see? Well, I don't know much about the contract status of certain characters. I mean, certain people. But, you got Jordan Grace with with TNA right now, right? She's a focal point. I don't know how long Jordan Grace's contract is, but if it's only for a short period in TNA, I've got a feeling if it's for a short period, we're going to see her show up in AEW more than likely before the year's out. Like, not right away, like, not at Revolution, not at Double or Nothing or anything like that, but I see her showing up at least maybe by All In, if not Full Gear. I see that. Because it only makes sense for her to go that way, to go that route. Now, you might say, well, she'd be better fit elsewhere, and that's true. She would be a better fit elsewhere, but I feel basically she's more than likely to end up, in AEW. I just think Tony Khan would want, as soon as, the announcement gets that, hey, her contract's up with TNA, she's going to want to, Tony Khan is going to jump on her. He's going to jump on her to sign a contract with the company. Because he's going to want to, people are complaining about that division being, not so good. I've got a feeling he's going to, upon hearing this, going to be like, okay, I need to rebuild this. I need to refocus and rebuild this division if I want certain talent to come in. And Jordan Grace would be a good way to help build that division, rebuild that division. So I think that's where Jordan Grace is going to go, depending on how long her contract with Total Nonstop Action is. Now, who do I see? Now, those are just some of the people I see going to AEW. There could be more. Now, who do I see going to TNA? Well, I said Dolph Ziggler probably would show up. Nick Namath would show up in AEW for a short term, very similar to Regal. But who do I see showing up in TNA? Well, we know they got a huge signing scheduled to debut on the 13th, a week from tomorrow. And a lot of people are saying that all signs are pointing to Mercedes Moné, a.k.a. Sasha Banks. And that might be true. But we don't know. But, shelving that for a second. Let's look at other possibilities. One possibility I can definitely see showing up in TNA is going to be, Elijah, a.k.a. Elias. He put out a vignette basically killing off his Elias character. So I could see him, Elijah, a.k.a. Elias, showing up in TNA, probably at Hard to Kill, if not post Hard to Kill. I see him showing up there, maybe even later. But he is going to be part of TNA. I've got that feeling. Another person I see showing up in TNA, being official with TNA, he's making an appearance there as Josh Alexander's opponent at Hard to Kill, but I definitely see him going full time with them. Alexander Hammerstone. That's who I see. Now I know people are saying, well, if MJF's going to come back, he needs the dynasty. True, but I look at the fact that TNA is like, well, we've seen how good this guy is. We've seen what he's capable of. We're going to sign him. We're going to make sure he's exclusive to us, and that's what's going to happen. Alexander Hammerstone, after his match with Alexander, I could be wrong, but I've got a feeling Alexander Hammerstone is going to sign exclusively with TNA. That's just my opinion. The same with the Grizzly Young Veterans. The Grizzly Young Veterans, I see them signing with TNA. I mean, I know they're going to be part of the tag team title match, so that might be the, initiation into the company, the induction, if you will. But, even if it's not, I see them after that match, win or lose, signing exclusively with TNA. That's what I see. As far as women go, we know there's rumor that Trinity is going to be leaving, probably after her match with Jordan Grace. We don't know. But who would TNA get? They lost Deonna Purrazzo. Who would they get? And that's a good question. I think one of the people they might get TNA that be TNA that is One of the people I think they're going to get is the current MLW featherweight champion, the women's champion right now. I think she'll be the one they get. And I don't know what her name is. I think it's Join Kasai or something. Let me check. Let me check something. Guys, let me check. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up here. Hold on. All I have to do is type in her name. No, it's not it. Trying to see here. Trying to see. Let's see. Hold on. I know it's in there somewhere. I know it's in here somewhere. Hold on. See, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. See. See here. I know it's somewhere. Hold on. See. Let me look at it online, guys. I do apologize. I can't find it here for some reason on the YouTube channel. I do apologize. So let me look at it, hopefully without no issues. Because apparently this morning my computer decided, oh, I'm going to do an update for you. You know, it's like, yeah, you know, why didn't you just say you were doing that? Period. I don't know. Okay, let's take a look at what we got here. Let's take a look at what we got here. Hold on. See, Jana Ka, who is the women's featherweight champion for MLW. I think Jana Ka or Jana Rose is going to be the one that that goes to TNA. I think she'll show up for the TNA women's division. They're already, I mean, if MLW is treating her like, you know, a killer in their division, and, you know, TNA sees this, they'll be like, yeah, we got to treat her the same way. So Jana Rose, I see showing up in TNA before this year is out. And I think she'd be a great addition to the Knockouts division. I definitely see her being a good fit for the Knockouts division. Because you don't have Sue Young back yet. You don't have Sue Young back. You have Rosemary doing this alternate personality deal. So to me, Jana Ruse would be a great addition for them at this moment. So I definitely see that. I also see, because we've seen him make sporadic appearances, but I think before this year is over, I think Myron Rush, I think that's his name. Myron Rush, not Myron Rush, but Myron Reed, I see, signing full-time with TNA. So I think Myron Reed is going to sign full-time with TNA, and you're going to turn the Rascals into a trio again, officially, end of story. So I see Myron Reed being part of TNA officially, not sporadically, but officially, before the year is out. Who else do I think? Well, surprisingly, I think one other that they could definitely fit in there, that would definitely fit into the main event picture, I think, is going to be Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali, I think, is going to sign with TNA. But here's what I think is going to happen. He's going to be on a contract similar to what Trinity's on right now, and maybe similar to what Regal was on with AEW. It's going to be for a year, if not less, so he can wet his feet again, show his former employer, hey, this is what you could get if you want me back. Let me do what I'm doing here, but on your platform. So I can see Mustafa Ali, debuting for TNA in the next few months, if not at Hard to Kill, within the next few months. So I see that happening. So those are the people I think are going to go to TNA. What about WWE, the big one? Well, this is where things get interesting because some names might come up twice that I just mentioned. Because we've got the Royal Rumble in the next, couple of weeks, next 22 days. We got the Royal Rumble, and you never know who shows up in those Rumble matches. So to me, I look at it this way. I think, because he's going to have a championship match against David Finlay before the month is out. I'm assuming he will, and that's Nick Nemeth. And I've already said Nick Nemeth I think is going to show up in AEW alongside his brother, get teamed together, but I don't think that's going to last long, and I think his contract's going to be very similar to William Regal. Now, I'm bringing Nick Nemeth, a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler, up here because I think what's going to happen is Triple H is going to see what they're doing creatively. Because, again, they have all these vignettes they put out there post the official release, like non-compete and all that. They have all these vignettes, creative vignettes out there, and you can't tell me Triple H isn't seeing this and be like, now that's what we need. Why did we let this go? And I guarantee you what's going to happen. Is he's going to contact Nick, if you will, and he's going to say, man, I saw that vignette with you and your brother. I heard about your match, against David Finlay. How would you like to come back and be part of the Royal Rumble? Maybe re-sign with the company, and I let you be yourself. Let you be what you have been showing already, outside of the company. I guarantee you Triple H will do that. And he might say, yeah, okay, fine. He'll say, I'll do a one-off appearance in the Rumble, but you got to let me think about the other options as well. And he might let him do that. And heck, if that leads to Dolph Ziggler being back officially with the company, and he can be what he's presenting himself to be right now, sky's the limit. And the same could be said for Mustafa Ali. I said he's going to show up in TNA, and I still stand by that. Because he'd be a great addition to them, especially as a main eventer. But I also look at the fact that, Triple H has seen what he's done, and he's being like, I got to get this guy back. And he might just bring him back and say, I'm going to let you, and he'll probably tell him the same thing he's going to tell Dolph. I'm going to let you be what you are right now. I'm going to let you be as creative as you want to be, with what you do, with what you were originally going to do, and what you're showing us right now. I'm going to let you be as creative as can be, and he'll probably let him finish off any dates he's committing to independent-wise. I see that happening. I see that. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. But I think those two, if not one-offs for the Rumble, or probably returning, I see those two with asterisks next to their names potentially coming back. You know, because Vince ain't there anymore. And Triple H obviously is hearing and seeing what's going on. He's like, I got to get him back. And it may happen. But people I see going into WWE. I see Camille. Camille, who has been a very dominant women's performer, wrestler in TNA. I mean, not TNA, but NWA. I see Camille signing with WWE, being sent to NXT. That's what I see. I think she might show up at the Rumble. That way people get to know that way people that don't know her get to see what she's capable of. You know, and she can have a strong showing. So I see Camille signing with the company. They already got one lady, I think, what's her name? Gila, who is the, oh, I can't even think of her name. Hold on. Let me look this up. And again, I apologize for any lag vocally. There we go. Gila, who is currently signed to World Wonder Ring Stardom, or Stardom basically. She is the current Strong Women's Champion, NWA. And basically, it looks like she's going to head down there because, basically, let me see this. According to several reports, that the stable she was in, the Donna Del Mondo stable, has disbanded. You know, amidst the rumors. And she's been around for, her career has been, she's been wrestling for almost, going on 7 years this year. So she still has plenty to learn. She's 29 years old, going to be 30 this year. And she's one of the more sought out women's wrestlers, or women Joshi wrestlers out there. And I definitely see WWE nabbing her. So WWE is going to get her. They're going to get Gila, hopefully. I think they're even looking at another person, Julia. I don't know if that's what her name is. Julia, that's what it's called. Because it's G, it's with a G. And I'm thinking, okay. Okay. Julia. That's obviously what it is. Julia, whatever. I don't know how you pronounce it. I don't know why there's a, I don't know why there's a G in her name, but I guess that's how they spell it for creative reasons. But I see them nabbing her. I see them nabbing Camille. And I see both of them debuting, in the Rumble. She might still be the Stardom champion, at that time. But it'd be a great way to acknowledge, hey, we're going to be working with other people, because there's that rumor there that I'll probably talk about later. Maybe. But I think WWE's going to nab her. They're going to nab Camille. I think they're going to nab Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona is going to show up in the Rumble. There's no doubt. It's all leading to this. He's currently the king of the indies, king of the death match, whatever title you want to give him. I see him showing up at the Rumble, and I see him resigning. But I don't see him being put back into the role of Zack Ryder. I think they're going to let him be Matt Cardona, and they might play off what he's done outside of WWE. Thus, if you want to make him into an obnoxious heel, someone that could be hated instead of beloved, that's one way of doing it. So I think they're going to get Matt Cardona. I don't know how long his contract is with AEW. I don't know how long, but I think they're going to get Ricky Starks as well. I really do. I think Ricky Starks is going to show up in WWE before this year's out. Because again, I don't know how long his contract is till. Honestly, let me look that up again. I do apologize for any lag vocally, because you know how it is when you go to other start. other sites and everything. Here we go, contract. Yeah, see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so 2024, it's when this year, it's when his contract's up and everything. So, Ricky Starks, I think, will show up in WWE. He's close friends with Cody. He was shown recently in a video clip working with Odyssey Jones. So, yeah, he's going to show up in WWE. There's no doubt in my opinion. He is WWE bound. And he's got the look. You put him in NXT for a little bit, work him up to be, to be what he needs to be there, and then when he goes to the main roster, let him go. Just let him be himself. And potentially, you got this generation's Rock right in front of you. You got this generation's Rock right in front of you. That's what I see. Now, who else do I think could go to WWE? That, my friends, is a good question. Let me look this up and everything. Let me look this up. Hold on. I don't want to do that. Okay, so... Okay, let's see. Let's see what Fightful Select says. Again, I do apologize for any lag. So, okay. According to this, Drew McIntyre early 2024 might have been extended because of his injuries or his time off and everything. So early to mid 2024. Seth Rollins' contract is up in June of 2024. So is his wife Becky Lynch. Ricochet's is up in the summer. Jinder Mahal's is up in the summer. So is Kofi's, Big E, Xavier, Randy Orton. It's up this year, but could be time added on. Kevin Owens, LA Knight in 2025. Nick Khan in 2025. But he's probably staying on because he's the president now. Miz to 2025. Dragon Lee to 2025. Anderson and Gallows, the OC, to 2027. Same with Rey Mysterio. And Dominic Mysterio is 28. 2028, that is. Booker T, 29, but he doesn't wrestle anymore. And Undertaker, although he's retired, 2034. So, those are the ones that could show. So, those names, I think, are going to get re-signed. They will get re-signed, there's no doubt. So, I don't think any of them will go anywhere, except Drew McIntyre might be an exception, but I think he'll stay. Okay. So, who do we have here? We have QT Marshall. He'll be showing up in WWE. A lot of people are saying they'd be crazy not to get him. He'll show up. He'll show up there. Probably in the Rumble. Probably have a confrontational moment with Cody. And we'll go from there. MJF, as he's saying, he's already expired. He's done. But he's going to be back. I mean, they're making it too obvious. He'll be back. So, he's staying with AEW. If he shows up in WWE, I'll be surprised. Andrade, he's showing up. He'll be probably showing up on SmackDown tonight, if not at the Rumble. Bryan Danielson, there we go. Here are some right here. Bryan Danielson's contract is up in September of this year. Bryan Danielson will show up in WWE probably by the end of the year. Guarantee it. I'm not trying to say that to be like, he just, misses being in WWE. Oh, that's why he wants to retire. No. Listen to me. Danielson has made it clear that he's going to go into part-timeness. He's not going to be full-time anymore. He's retiring from that. He's stepping down from that. He's going to be a part-time guy who specializes in part-time more so than anybody. with guys they would want back. WWE. So I think Danielson, when his contract is up, unless Tony Khan, before the month is over and say, goes out and says, here, Daniel, here's $1 million for 20 more years. Here. Danielson's going to go back to WWE. Guaranteed. Dustin Rhodes, his contract is up at the same time. I think he heads back to WWE as well to be with his brother. So, QT Marshall, Andrade, Bryan Danielson, and Dustin Rhodes, all I think will show up in WWE to some point. I've got a feeling. I'm not, now I could be wrong, but I think it's obvious. It's very obvious. That they're going to show up. Unless they can opt out, which a lot of people are thinking this guy, Malachi Black, will do. Malachi Black, they think, is going to opt out of his contract to go back to WWE with his wife, Zelina. And he might do that. Impact Wrestling, Dirty Dango, Fandango, he's not there anymore. Apparently his contract expired last year. So I think he's going to show up in WWE, probably return at the Rumble. Maybe not. Maybe he goes to AEW, who knows. Deanna, she's already with AEW, so we don't have to worry about that. Rich Swann, I think, will debut or return to WWE. I got a feeling Rich Swann will return to WWE. Brian Myers already re-signed with the company, so I don't know how long that's going to be. PCO, he's re-signed, so, I don't know how long that's going to be. But if I look at these two, Dirty Dango and Rich Swann, I think would be the ones that are more than likely to get pursued by WWE. Hammerstone, I've already mentioned him. I think he's going to be TNA bound. And Camille, like I said, she's going to be WWE bound. That's what I think is going to happen. And again, I do apologize for any lag right now, because apparently YouTube is saying it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. That's because I was on the other app, website at that time, and you know how websites are and everything. So I do apologize if there's any lag vocally and everything going forward. I do apologize for that. But anyway, like I said, I think that's what's going to happen there. I think those are the people showing up in those areas, in my opinion. Those are going to be the landing spots. Some with an asterisk, like I mentioned, but I think those are I think that's their destinations. I really do. I think it's their destinations going forward. I could be wrong, but let me know what you think. Who do you think's gonna? Do you think I'm right on the money? Do you think I'm right on the money about some of these people showing up with these companies and everything as well? There are a few other names I want to throw out there just in case, because I think there's a good chance they could show up. I think Matt Riddle, I think he's going to go back to WWE before this year's out. I think what's going on right now is they just want to give him some space, let him, do his own thing, kind of, get that out of the system. And I think Matt Riddle will be back, because you got a story there with him and Randy Orton, so I think Matt Riddle will return. I think he will return to WWE because Triple H likes him, so he'll come back, and I've got a feeling what's going to happen if Matt Riddle comes back, they're going to put him on the same kind of contract. He's going to get a contract, but he's going to have the same stipulation in the contract that CM Punk has, and that's a behavior contract, and that's a behavior stipulation. In other words, don't get yourself in trouble, be on your best behavior, and you're good to go. You're good to go. So I think Matt Riddle will be back. I think he will be back, in my opinion. What else? Who else do I think? I can't think of any more. Let me know who you guys think will show up elsewhere. But yeah, I'm gonna go Matt Riddle being another one I think will show up in in WWE, show back up in the company. So that's my opinion. I know I just said a lot, so there I do apologize. Anyway, those are just my predictions of who I think is going to show up, in these three different companies before the year is out, and again, I know I just said a lot, so I do apologize. But those are just the people I think going to show. I think these are the destinations they're going to head to. Some are going to be asterisks like Dolph and Mustafa, but I got a feeling, outside of those asterisks next to them because of the Rumble, I think they're going to end up where I feel they're going to end up, even if it's short term, But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Let me know what your thoughts are and everything as I check something real quickly. Guys. But I got a feeling, outside of those asterisks next to them because of the Rumble. There we go. Just checking something. But yeah, those are the places. Those are the companies I think some of these talents will land. And, as far as the big one, Mercedes Monet goes, Mercedes Monet, again, we don't know what's going on with her. We'll have to wait. We just got to wait. Like I said, there are dates we have to circle and cross out in the next few weeks to kind of be like, okay, is this where she's at? Is that where she's at? We're gonna have to keep an eye out, if you will, with her. Anyway, next up, what else are we going to talk about here for outlooks for 2024, predictions for 2024? Well, I'm going to say this. 2024-wise, I do not think we're going to have any strikes. I could be wrong, but I think after last year, I think the AMPTP, is going to work out a contract with other guilds that are going to be on the verge of striking, like the Animation Guild and all that. I think they're going to work something out. They're going to take what they've learned from here, and they're going to apply it to whatever deal they're going to give the animators. I'm not saying the animators are going to ask for the same kind of compensation and all that. They will, there's no doubt. But I think because of the fact that, Hollywood doesn't want to go through another circumstance like this, because, when both the actors and the writers struck last year, and though the writers, got what they wanted before the actors, the writers, union, the Writers Guild, didn't really do much after that. They said, we're not going to do anything until our fellow actors, are compensated as well. And that's what happened. So I don't think Hollywood's going to want to go through that again, to where if the animators go on strike, you could have the actors and the writers be like, hey, we're with them until you give them what they want. I don't think they're going to want to go through that. So I think, honestly, they're going to be working out a deal, if not already working out a deal, to prevent a strike like that from happening. And if it does happen, I don't think it'll be long. I think it'll be a very short strike, and everything, because they'll get what they want. And maybe even more. But I don't think we'll have any strikes this year as far as Hollywood entertainment strikes go. I don't think Hollywood's going to have to deal with that this year. I think what this year is really going to be for Hollywood, it's just going to be a recovery year. It's going to be a year for, building back up from what happened last year, and also kind of coming together and being like, okay, how can we prevent this from happening, in the next few years? So I think this is going to be more of a rebuilding year for Hollywood and the studios and the AMPTP and all that. And again, I just don't see any strikes occurring. I think the animators are going to get what they want, and we're just going to go from there. So, yeah, I don't think any strikes are going to occur whatsoever, because, like I said, the last thing they're going to want is the other guilds that have gotten what they wanted already last year, basically stopping work and everything in support of the Animators Guild. They're not going to want that, so they're going to say, animators, what do you want? We'll give it to you. And there you go. I just got that feeling. They're going to give them what they want to avoid another disastrous year from an entertainment perspective. Because there's a lot of projects, animation-wise, that's currently in the works that are scheduled for release, or basically tentatively scheduled for release towards the end of the year or in the fall of the year. And I don't think they're going to want to have to hold off on those, and not allow those to be seen because, the animators are on strike. I think they're going to want to avoid that as best as they can, and God willing that they do. God willing, that they do. But yeah, I don't think any strike is going to occur this year. I think it's going to be more of a recovery year for Hollywood and the entertainment business. That's just me. Now, moving on. Next thing I predict is we're going to see, because people are talking about it, we're going to see, at, not E3, because E3's dead. E3's dead. But we're going to see at San Diego Comic-Con, if nothing else happens, at San Diego Comic-Con, we're going to see the announcement by Nintendo. Yes, Nintendo, I think, is going to have a presence at San Diego Comic-Con. We're going to get the announcement of a sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie. We're going to get an announcement of a sequel, which is going to include Daisy. Daisy will be part of that, along with Toadette. And I think they're going to take elements from the new Wonder game and apply it into that new movie. But we're also going to get a teaser trailer for the Zelda movie. I really think we are. Because, they're saying they want to do it. They say they want to do it. I've got a feeling they're already working on it. And I've got a feeling we're going to get a teaser trailer, or at least a teaser title trailer, where basically you see this image, and what I mean by teaser title is they're going to make an announcement, or they're going to do something to acknowledge what they're about to show, just like they did with Batman v Superman. And what's going to happen is you're going to see this, you're going to see on the screen, on one of the screens in the halls, the Legend of Zelda logo show up. And basically be called the Legend of Zelda movie, or Legend of Zelda the movie, or whatever they're going to call it. So I've got a feeling, like I said, we're going to get the announcement of, Super Mario Brothers 2, the Super Mario Brothers movie 2. We're going to get the announcement of the Legend of Zelda movie, along with the teaser logo and everything that gets shown there. And I think Nintendo at the same time is going to announce and unveil the Switch 2, the new Switch, the one that's supposed to be more graphically capable than the current one, the one that's supposedly, according to some people, going to have 4K, and everything, maybe 8K, who knows, going to have a QLED screen or something, UHD. It's basically going to be more powerful. So I think Comic-Con for Nintendo, they're going to basically announce the Switch 2, and along with it, they're going to announce the sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie, and they're going to officially give us the announcement with that title teaser showing up on the screen of the Legend of Zelda movie. I've got that feeling. And look, I might be wrong, like I've said earlier, and on many of these, I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. I do not think I am. I think Nintendo is going to do that. I think Nintendo is going to go out of the way. They are going to go out of the way and make that happen. So expect Nintendo, in some capacity, to unveil not one, not two, but 3 things at San Diego Comic-Con. 2 being two of them being movie related, basically the Super Mario Brothers 2 movie and Legend of Zelda movie, and the unveiling of the Switch 2, and when it's going to get released officially. So expect that. I also feel that in the summer, we're going to get the announcement for a 2025 release. For a 2025 release, we're going to get an official announcement in the summer by both Microsoft and Sony. We're going to get the announcements of PS6 and a new Xbox console. That's right. And I've got a feeling it's not going to be a Series X. I've got a feeling it's going to be under some different title. It might even be called the Xbox 2. Because of Xbox One, I've got a feeling it might be the Xbox 2. You never know. But I've got a feeling that basically Sony and Microsoft are going to make announcements around the time of San Diego Comic-Con, because there's no more E3. There's no more E3. I've got a feeling around this time frame, they're going to make the announcements of a new PS6 console and a new Xbox console, which they are going to schedule for release in the holiday season of 2025. I've got that feeling. I've got that feeling. And I know I'm not the only one that has that feeling. I'm not the only one. But, you know, it's obvious. It's obvious that you can just feel it's all building towards that. It's building towards that, in my opinion. But that's what I predict happening. I also predict the fact that physical media will survive and be resurrected in 2024. That's right. And what I mean by that is Target is going to, benefit. Target and Amazon, they are going to benefit. And other outlets that sell physical media are going to benefit financially, because of the fact they still have physical media of both movie and game-wise in stock. And because of that, we're going to see a resurrection in popularity for that physical media, in a usage of that physical media. That's what we're going to see. And the reason I say resurrection too, and it's going to survive, is I see Best Buy losing money financially. I see them losing money financially and may have to cut costs, may have to file for bankruptcy. Not saying they will. Hopefully they don't. But I've got a feeling, they're going to lose a lot financially, and they're going to make the decision of, okay, guys, we admit, because I see this. I can see that. I predict this. That you're going to have the guy that runs, they're going to have the person that runs Best Buy right now. You're going to have the person that runs Best Buy right now coming out and apologizing for the decision to remove physical media, movie-wise, because I think they're still doing games, but physical movie-wise. You're going to have people, or you're going to have the person that runs that company corporately coming out and apologizing for the decision they made. And I've guarantee you, before 2024 is out, Best Buy will bring back physical media. Because they're going to suffer a financial loss that they're not going to be able to recover from. That is a fact. They're going to suffer a financial loss that they're not going to recover from unless they bring back physical media. And that's a fact. Same with Walmart. Walmart's going to suffer a little bit because of the fact that they're taking away the game media. And guess what? It's going to cause them, seeing this big boom that the rivals are having, be like, okay, let's bring back game media. And they will. They will. If they haven't already decided to do that, as we speak. If they haven't already decided to do that as we speak. But yeah, I predict this year, 2024, physical media will thrive, survive, and be resurrected in the places that they're being taken out of. That's a prediction that I see happening. That is a prediction I see happening. Also, I see this as a prediction. I see IDW. I see them announcing in their IDW Sonic Comics sometime this year. Maybe at Comic-Con. But I see them announcing in some capacity the debut of the Freedom Fighters. Sally Acorn, Bunny Rabbit, Rotor, Antoine, and maybe even Dulcie. I see them announcing their arrival in the comic, within this year. I could be wrong, and it may not happen, but I've got a feeling, I've just got this feeling it's going to happen. People have been waiting. They have been waiting and waiting, and now the time, is here. The time is here. And I think, honestly, I think, honestly, we're going to get that announcement. Because people have been wanting it, and I've got a feeling the time couldn't be better for it to happen. So they're going to get it. They're going to get it, I've got a feeling. Just don't know when. It could happen at Comic-Con. It could not. We'll see. But I see them announcing, the inclusion of the Freedom Fighters in some capacity in the comic series before the year is out. It may not happen until 2025, but I got a feeling we're going to get that announcement. I just get this feeling. I really do. Also, speaking of Sonic, I think they're also going to do a one-shot. And I'm pretty sure they're already planning it. They're going to do a one-shot for Sonic Superstars. They're going to do a one-shot comic for Sonic Superstars. And we're going to see the comic debut of Trip. We're going to see Trip. We're finally going to get some kind of a vocalness added to her. And everything. We're going to finally get some vocalness added to her. Even through speech bubbles. But we're going to see the debut of Trip. Now you might say, well, they already debuted her in the comics. Yeah, in backup stories. They did. But I've got a feeling we're going to see her full-fledged in the comics for a one-shot. And I've got a feeling, as far as the main book goes, we'll see her show up there as well. So I've got a feeling we're going to get a one-shot, for Trip. A major one-shot, for her. As well as we'll see, as well as the... easy. I'm getting a little tongue-tied here. And as far as the regular continuity of the IDW book, I see her showing up there too. I see that happening. Now, again, some of you might say she already got in the book because they did, an adaptation of the game, and you're probably right. But I've got to. But when I say one shot, I'm talking one shot like, she might get her own book. Like, they'll take, like what they're doing with Fang the Sniper, aka Knack the Weasel, right now for a few months. I've got a feeling sometime this year they're going to do the same thing with Trip. I've got a feeling. I could be wrong. I know I say that a lot here because, I could be, but I got a feeling Trip's going to get her own book, her own solo book, to kind of really flesh her out a little bit. And then I think she's also going to show up, in the regular book, in the regular continuity as well. I've got that feeling. So I look at the Freedom Fighters being announced for the book. May not have them debut till at least 2025. But I see Trip already being included. Not just from what they've already done, apparently, but from what I see them doing down the line. Giving her own book, as well as putting her as part of the inclusion of the continuity. That's what I see. So that's what I think is going to happen with her. All right. So what else do I see? Well, honestly, when we look at, let's say, the college football landscape, I see the first year of this 12-team playoff. I see it basically not ending without controversy. That's the truth. I do not see the games for the playoffs being set up without controversy. I know some people might say, well, that's what the 12-team playoff is for, to avoid that. And that's true. But there's going to be controversy. You know it. Some of the rulings for it, from what I've heard other people talk about, and even the NCAA and outlets like ESPN and CBS Sports have said, it's going to be one of those situations to where you will not be able to walk away, from the first year of the 12-team format without controversy. And there's going to be plenty of it, believe me. There are going to be some teams that are in that ranking that feel that, hey, we're number 12 or number 11, we're going to get in, and they don't. Because of the conference champions having the automatic bid. So, to me, this is not going to start out without, so to me, the playoff system is going to start off, but it's going to start off with controversy. That's just my opinion. Now, outside of that, what else do I see? Well, I will say this. I think we're going to get more. I think what's going to... Now, the other thing, and I'm going to close it out on this because I can't think of anything more to predict-wise, besides me hopefully getting a job, and I will. But this is what I also think is going to happen. And I mentioned this in a video. I've got a feeling that all these indie projects, movies, horror slasher movies, whatever, adult film, softcore movies, whatever, games, you name it. I've got a feeling a lot of these projects that are based, if not inspired, by the Steamboat Willie IP that's now in public domain, along with the Plain Crazy IP, and the Galloping Groucho, or whatever it's called. I've got a feeling those, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be shelved. Any of these projects, including the one, well, I wouldn't say the ones that have already been announced, but I got a feeling some of these may not see the light of day. And why? Because I got a feeling Disney is going to buy back the IP. Yeah. They have enough on their side to basically say, we practically own the damn thing still. Let us just buy it back. And they will. So, I've got a feeling, if you're trying to enjoy Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse, for free right now, because it's in the public domain, I don't think that enjoyment's going to last long. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. Because a lot of people could put up some very decent arguments. But I just do not see any of these ideas panning out. Unless they get really innovative, really creative, and find a way to skew around, any potential lawsuit, like I mentioned in one video, on how, I think one of the things they could do is, if not have already done, is, talk and contact the right kind of people in law firms, contact and talk to people, family and friends that might be studying law or work in law. The only way that they're going to be able to find a way to skirt around this is to get their advice, maybe get an agreement contract signed or something to make sure that there's nothing that's going to get them in trouble. Only then do I think they'll be able to, move forward with these projects. But even with that, I don't think they're going to be able to enjoy, these projects for much longer. I've got a feeling some of these are going to get shelved or have to be reworked into something else, because I've got a feeling Disney's going to try to buy back the IP. They are. Because again, they have, Steamboat Willie merchandise. They have, the trademark on it for the beginning of the Walt Disney Animated Features. I just feel that this year is going to be a year to where, before it's out, you're going to hear a lot of news outlets saying that Disney is on the verge of buying back the now public domain Steamboat Willie as an IP for the next 95-something years. That's just my opinion. At least buying the rights. That's just my opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I got that feeling, guys. It's a feeling I just cannot shake. It's a feeling I just cannot shake. I know some people might say, well, that's not possible. There's no way they could do that. Trust me, they can. They can. They have the money to do it. They can. They have the lawyers and the legal team to do it. They can. And I guarantee you, this will be probably the one time this year, this is one thing I can definitely predict, that Abigail Disney, the great-granddaughter of Disney himself, she will basically see what's going on with Steamboat Willie in the IP, in the public domain. And it'll be the one time she actually sides with the Disney Corporation, despite their differences, and basically says, let's get him back. Let's get the Steamboat Willie IP back. And they will. They will. So I predict that we might see some of these projects get off the ground without any issue or hesitation, hopefully. But I also feel that any other projects people have planned, they might want to shelve them or rework them, because 2024 will probably be a very historical year, when it comes to public domain, because I got a feeling it'll be the first time in a long time that, an IP that went public domain got bought back up. Got bought right back up by the people that, owned the trademark and owned it originally. I've got a feeling that's what's going to happen. But maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what your thoughts are. And that's pretty much going to do it, guys, for my 2024 predictions of what I see happening. And honestly, some of this, because I kept saying I may be wrong throughout this. And when I say I may be wrong, that does allude to may not happen and all that. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Love to hear what your predictions are for 2024. Do you think any of the predictions I made in any of these areas are going to come to pass? Let me know. Love to hear from each and every one of you. And until next time, guys, thank you all for watching this and listening. And I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care.